Today we're going to Petroglyph Canyon. It's in the southern part of the Las Vegas Valley around the Henderson area, and it's quite a convoluted way to get here. A lot of construction, a lot of different turns. I'm on Democracy Road here, and Democracy and Nagha Poa Road, and Nagha Poa Road is the one you want to get to. I suggest that you use your GPS to get here. Anyway, looks like a very nice entrance to Petroglyph Canyon. This is the premier area of Sloan Canyon, and what you'll see here is I'm going to get a shot of the times that this road is open. It's not too far of a walk from Democracy, and I went a block beyond Nagha Poa Road and parked on a side street because it's 7:30 in the morning, and the Sloan Canyon Conservation Area, here are the hours: June 1st to September 30th, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. October 1st to May 31st, every day 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So the road's closed. You can park. The actual trailhead is about I don't know, maybe quarter mile, half mile up this road. So you could park on a side road if you get here, as I did before 8 o'clock, and it's a Saturday morning right now. See a little more. You could freeze this frame and read the description of this area. Very well done here. Anyway, yeah, you don't want to drive over these. It'll be your last trip on those tires. Okay, so anyway, here we are, Democracy Drive and Nagha Poa Road, and then here we are at the Petroglyph Trail. There's a little more close-up of that sign. So I'm just going to start up this Petroglyph Trail, and not on my bike today. Doing a little light running. So my injury is healing, so we're going to have some great adventures coming up. Anyway, here we go. So as you can see, there's a really nice bike trail here. And when they open the road at 8, you'll be able to drive on this road up to the official trailhead. But I guess if you're riding a bike, the trailhead starts here. And there you can see the Petroglyph Canyon up ahead. Let's go ahead and get a 360. We're gonna be looking straight into the sun in a minute when we round the corner. But here, you're looking down into the Las Vegas Valley now. It's the southern part of the Las Vegas Valley. There's the Strip. Beautiful, clear morning. Second to the last morning in December. Second to the last Saturday morning. Saturday before Christmas. And then we're looking straight over to the Mount Charleston Wilderness. Okay, now we're beginning to recognize landmarks here. And behind that pole, and just to the left of the pole, is, I believe that's Mount Wilson, and whoops, sorry, that's the sky. This is Mount Wilson in the Red Rock Park area, and then looking over in this direction, I believe we're looking at Potosi Mountain. Now, I could be wrong. I think that I'm right, though. This is a different perspective than I've seen the Las Vegas Valley before. So then circling around this way, you're looking up at the northern part of Sloan Canyon. You see those towers there on that hill. If you go to the another one of the Sloan Canyon page is the the McCullough Trail. Yeah, that's the one in northern Sloan Canyon. Those towers are just below these towers is the start of the McCullough Trail that spans a lot of the northern area of Sloan Canyon. And there you see some of the mountains around Sloan Canyon. Okay, we're going to look into the sun. There we are, straight into the sun. And then back up the Petroglyph Canyon Trail. Okay, let's continue on. I almost forgot to mention, yeah, here we're looking straight down at, there's Gas Peak, and behind it, the Sheep Range. So now you get a lot of our familiar mountains and hills, and I don't know what this is. This is pretty interesting. I think that may be Frenchman Mountain. Not sure, but I have a feeling it is. Okay, so there you go. That's the view of the Las Vegas Valley from this area in the south. Wasn't too much of a walk. Here we are at the official parking area, and looks like I got a jump on everyone because it's probably around 8 o'clock a.m. and as you can see, it's opened from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. So at least open for parking. They don't stop you from hiking before that point. So let's take a look up here and see what signs we have. There are a couple interpretive signs up here. We'll get a shot of these and then continue on up the trail. Here's the official beginning of the Sloan Canyon Trail. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, Sloan Canyon Trail. Down that way, the way we came. Petroglyph Canyon Trail. Oh look, mountain bikes, e-bikes, and dogs are prohibited in Petroglyph Canyon. So it's good I didn't bring my mountain bike, and it's good I can run again after about 4 or 5 months of having a case of plantar fasciitis. Still a little tender there, but at least I can start running again. So Petroglyph Trail, we're going to head up this trail and go into Petroglyph Canyon. I understand there are something like 300 different rock panels in this canyon, and something like 1,700 pieces of rock art in these 300 panels. So it's just an amazing amount of native artwork from hundreds of years ago to recent history. People have created artwork. So let's go ahead. Let's go up this trail and see what we can find. Should be about 2 miles up the trail to the, you'll see on this map, there is a loop. That is the petroglyph gallery in that loop. We are right here. There's the finger pointer. And there's the loop, which is the petroglyph gallery. So we're going to take a bunch of petroglyph pictures and then head back down. And I believe we're looking at a couple miles to get to that gallery from here. So it's not a, 2.5 mile trail. So that's like nothing. And we'll spend most of our time just looking at the amazing petroglyphs. This is one of the largest petroglyph areas in the Las Vegas area. Okay, here we go. Closing in on Petroglyph Canyon. Just wanted to make a note of this trail. Very nice trail, but as you can see, it's also very heavily traveled. So if you want any kind of solitude, hike it in like I did rather than wait for the parking lot to open. And being a Saturday morning, I'm sure on the way back there'd just be scads of people here on this trail. So just a note. We just came down this trail. That's the beginning of the trail, and looks like we're heading down into, nice little stairway here. I'm not used to that. Used to just avalanche slopes. We're heading down into the actual Petroglyph Canyon. We're not in the gallery area yet, but here is where the trail goes up the canyon, and lest somebody wanders down the canyon and doesn't turn at the right turn, they've blocked it off pretty well. So no, you're not normally going to be able to head down this way unless you know where you're going. So here we go, up Petroglyph Canyon. Here's another note that you might want to be aware of: no dogs in Petroglyph Canyon. So if you were thinking of bringing your dog, I guess that's not going to be possible. Okay, and here's the little stairway I just descended to get into Petroglyph Canyon. Continuing to wind up the canyon here. Looks like we're maybe going to get a little more narrow. I don't know. And I'm wondering if we've got a split off to the right here. If there is, I hope it's well marked. If not, we're going to explore. Ah, okay. Yes. So it looks like, yeah, let's see where this trail to the right leads. There's a trail to the left. It says Petroglyph Trail. So I'm thinking that the main trail is over to the left. What do we have here to the right? Who knows? This may be the gallery area, the loop. We don't know. And here it says Cowboy Trail. Okay, I don't feel like a cowboy today. My first run in 4 months. But I gotta say, it is so nice to be running again. This confirms I am not a mountain biker. I am a runner. And so, and I make better speed on trails when I'm running than when I'm riding a mountain bike. I guess I could get a really souped up mountain bike, top quality, and maybe we'd see some more rapid progression on these trails, but not the Petroglyph Trail, because Petroglyph Trail does not allow mountain bikes. So let's just verify here. Yes, this is the Petroglyph Trail. So here we go. Walls beginning to rise around us. Canyon narrowing, and little dry, very light waterfall ahead here. Nothing even to notice, but kind of cool. Here's a 360 where we are. Looks like there's another trail that heads up, and this main trail continues over these rocks. I think they end up in the same place, so I'm actually going to take the higher one. Less dusty, sandy, slidey rocks. And there is the direction we came from. And here is where we're headed, up Petroglyph Canyon. Continuing to wind up Petroglyph Canyon. Actually, our first petroglyphs right in this spot. There is a petroglyph panel. I think I've got a shot of it up here. Yeah, right there. We're not at the official petroglyph gallery yet, but you know, it's faintly in this light. I feel like I can see something up on the walls of this cliff area. Could just be my imagination and wanting to see petroglyphs early, but you know, sometimes just looking at great rock panels is a good way to discover stuff. So I'm taking a video of this rock panel up here, and perhaps you'd be able to see some petroglyphs. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a glyph. Only some petroglyphs at this point in the canyon. So let's just take a look. There's something going on this rock right here. As you can see, there's a little initial petroglyph panel. And do we have others? I'm not seeing anyone else around here right at this spot, but let's continue on up the canyon. Continuing on up the canyon, definitely we would not call this wheelchair accessible. There's a barrier there, and it looks like you can do this class 2 or so little scramble up this boulder to get to the next level. So we'll go ahead and do that now. To wind up the canyon here. It did open up after that last rock climb, little boulder climb. There's slick rocks though, very smooth, and if it were raining, I'd be very careful on rocks like that. Maybe I wouldn't even take this trail. Another, maybe it's a petroglyph spot. So looking at the cliff walls here, and not super evident on the, looking at it with the naked eye, but maybe something comes through in the video here. We are what looks like the other end of the Cowboy Trail. So what I'm thinking is I go around this Cowboy Trail and we'll see if we get to the Petroglyph Gallery. Okay, here we go. No, I take that back. Cowboy Trail looks like it heads up in this direction, and it should loop around this rock formation and back out the way we came. So therefore, I'm thinking Petroglyph Trail is continuing on up straight past the Cowboy Trail. Let's try that. Interesting. It's called the Hidden Valley Trailhead. So not entirely sure if maybe I should have taken that Cowboy Trail. We'll have to check this out just a moment. There's the intersection down there of the Cowboy Trail. And it looks like there's only two markers. One says Cowboy Trail, the other says Hidden Valley Trail Head. And I'm not seeing anything that says Petroglyph Gallery or Loop. So I'm going to head around the Cowboy Trail a bit. And if there were a Petroglyph Gallery, it might be up in this direction because I see some tall cliff up there. On the other hand, I could return this way and head up the Hidden Valley Trail and see if the gallery is in that direction, because there are some tall rock formations in that direction too. So let's just play around and see where we are. I'm at a rise in the Cowboy Trail, and you look down into the Las Vegas Valley from here, and there is Frenchman Mountain right there. And then looking across, there is Gas Peak, and then to the left of Gas Peak, the Sheep Range. Nice view. And then here I am at this high point on the Cowboy Trail. I could continue around to where I began on the Petroglyph Trail. What I understand now that I can get internet and I can look at a few maps, I passed the Petroglyph Gallery. I walked right past it. So I guess I need to go back and look a little more carefully. We did see some petroglyphs, and that was, that was great, but we should have seen a lot more than that. So I'm heading back, and when you hit the Cowboy Trail and the Hidden Valley Trail, at least the second Cowboy Trail connection, you've gone too far, and you've actually overshot the Petroglyph gallery. And evidently it began right after that little climb over the boulders, and I just needed to look more carefully. So we're going to go back and take a closer look at the rocks and see if we can see more petroglyphs than we saw the first time. Back at the intersection of the Cowboy Trail, which I'm on here, the Hidden Valley Trail, which continues on up that canyon, and the Petroglyph Trail. Trail 100, and armed with a little more information. But the key is that Petroglyph Canyon Loop, or Gallery Loop, is right down in this area. I walked right past it. So let's see if we can go back and get a closer look and actually see something here. Here we go. Back on the Petroglyph Canyon Trail, looking more closely at the rocks. These petroglyphs do not jump out at you. So looks like a little alien petroglyph, and somebody drew an arrow. Who knows? This could be a graffiti, or it could be a petroglyph, but we'll count it because it is rock art. I decided to head up a little higher toward this cliff area, and somebody is not too happy that I'm up here. I just got a warning sound. A hawk. Anyway, what I want to do is look at some of these rocks up in this area and see if there are any petroglyphs. So here we go. Yeah, I'm definitely being watched. The hawk just circled around the other side of the cliff. Okay, no petroglyphs I can see. Oh, there's that hawk. No petroglyphs I can see on the cliff walls here, and it's pretty rugged walls. There's the Petroglyph Canyon Trail down below us, and we'll go ahead and there's the split off of the Cowboy Trail, by the way. So we'll go back down and continue along the Petroglyph Trail and see if we can locate some petroglyphs. Wow, you've really got to be watching the rocks closely. Here's a couple rocks that I totally passed up on the way up the trail. And you can see the petroglyphs here on these rocks. And you want to ask yourself, where did they come from? Were they drawn on these rocks, or were they drawn on a cliff face up the hill that the rocks broke off and fell down to this point? So I'm going to go up the hill a little bit and see if I can find more petroglyphs up above. So here we go. Well, I keep thinking that some artist is going to have climbed these hills above the trail and created some petroglyphs in the rocks up higher. And so far I'm not seeing anything high. There's the trail down at the bottom of the canyon. I'm heading back down there, but I'm definitely not seeing anything that is up above. So, kind of interesting. And there's the way out the canyon. Okay, back down in the canyon here. And we're seeing petroglyphs low in the canyon. I climb up higher and I don't see any petroglyphs up on the rocks higher. So, a theory begins to develop. Now, here's another panel right here. And I'm sure everyone has their theory because some of these drawings are very ancient. And we can only guess, but my theory is that this was a thoroughfare in the Las Vegas Valley. It's super hot in the summer, and in the winter, you'd probably want to be living in the valley. So you'd pass down through this canyon, go to the valley. In the summer, you'd want to head up higher and go up this canyon to a place that may be a little cooler and more sheltered, which makes this canyon a thoroughfare. And if this canyon were a thoroughfare, and all the petroglyphs that I can see, and I haven't searched every single hill, but everything I see is down on the lower level here. It appears to me that, if it were an artist that wanted to create a timeless piece, if I were an artist creating a timeless piece, I'd be heading up the hills to a sheltered area with a nice cliff face. And I've looked at some of these cliff faces. I've gone up above the trail, looked at the cliff faces, and I'd be creating some really cool drawings on the cliff faces with the thought that they would last for a long time because people don't usually go up there. On the other hand, if I were just creating messages for all the people that pass back and forth, I'd probably create them near the trail at the bottom of the canyon. And so my theory, for what it's worth, is that these petroglyphs are a means of communication to people who were passing up and down this canyon, as opposed to being meant to be enduring rock art, which I would imagine would have been up higher, and yet I go up there and I don't see petroglyphs up at the higher elevations. I only see them down right near the base of the canyon here, which would be on the thoroughfare that people would pass on a regular basis. And they'd look at these petroglyphs, and so it's almost like these might be messages for those people. Here's probably an ancient passageway along here, and it may be that the floor of the canyon was not the main thoroughfare, because there would be a lot of water action, and normally in the wash at the base of a canyon, it's pretty rugged. So from my experience traveling along canyons and washes, I usually go just a little bit higher where I can walk on more solid ground than down in the wash. And so if that's true, then it appears that the petroglyphs that I'm seeing are mostly along this old route that's a little higher. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm seeing this art as meant to give a message to those people who passed frequently on their way to the summer area, and then back up to the, on the way to the winter area, which would be down in the valley, and then back up higher to the summer areas that are a little cooler up there. So anyway, that's my theory. Here's an interesting petroglyph. It looks almost like there's an arrow pointing up, and then a guy on the right standing on a balancing rock. So we look up, and there is a vantage point up there. I don't know if there actually is a balancing rock, but it does look like a high point where you can see the whole Las Vegas Valley. And it looks like this guy is standing on a high point up there and just looking out and enjoying the view. Theories abound. Let's continue down the canyon, see what else we can find. More of those ever-present bighorn sheep. There's got to be some kind of story on this panel. We don't know what it is, but there you have it. Bighorn sheep. I have no idea what this signifies. Looks almost like rain, which would be pretty amazing in this area. It hasn't rained here, by the way, for something in the area of close to 9-10 months. No rain. So that could be rain. Who knows? Okay, here's the deal. They say that when you're going through the canyon, you're going to see 300 rock panels with over 1,000 pieces of art, different drawings, and that is probably true. However, what they don't tell you is that these rock panels are scattered among 300 different boulders that are at different places in the canyon here. So just a thought that, yeah, you need to be a detective and ask yourself, where might these boulders hold petroglyphs? And what I found again is that if you're just a little above the main wash here, but not too far above, that's along what might have been a more ancient trail. You can just very, very faintly see that there was a passageway that's just above, to the right of the base of this canyon wash. And that is where I'm finding most of the petroglyph rocks, along that older trail. This one might be saying, don't go up there where the pointer is pointing, or you might fall. And there's a figure of someone who looks like they've fallen. It does appear that a lot of the pointers are pointing up toward bluffs and high points. And a little further up the canyon, there's the guy standing on one of those high points, enjoying the view. So maybe this is the dangerous route? Who knows? Big section of petroglyphs here. You can see them etched on the boulders in this area. I'm noticing is as you're heading up the canyon, most if not all the petroglyphs are in the boulders, on the boulders to your right. I haven't found anything to the left yet. So the west side of the canyon is where you're going to find the petroglyphs, at least where I've found them. On the east side, the left side as you're heading up the canyon, I've found very little, if any. Now this is kind of interesting. As I mentioned before, some of these almost look like they're directions to go up to a viewpoint. And this, if that were the case, would say like there's 3 plateaus and then you hit the viewpoint. And sure enough, as you look at this area, you could figure out 3 plateaus before you get to the very top. So, who knows? A little more art on the rocks as you head up this side canyon to a high point. Here's the key to Petroglyph Canyon. There, as you ascend Petroglyph Canyon, and I'm looking back now, I've ascended and descended, there will be a series of 3 dry waterfalls, pretty slick rocks. This is not one of the steeper ones. This is the one that's the most tame. Some are just like a slip and slide, just heading almost straight down. You got to really watch your footing. Anyway, after the third one, which is the most challenging, you'll enter the petroglyph area, and most if not all the petroglyphs are to your right in the canyon, and they are scattered among 200 different boulders. So you just got to be a real detective after you summit that last dry waterfall, and you may feel like turning around. You'll know you're at that waterfall, that rock area, if you're thinking, oh, can I really do this? And just, you can find a way up if you're very, very careful. And there's no more than, 8 feet of exposure at any point to a fall, but that could bang you up pretty good. Anyway, you get above that third dry waterfall and then start looking at the rocks on your right. And just weave around among those rocks and you'll begin to find petroglyphs, just to give you an idea of how non-obvious they are. When I was heading up this canyon for the first time, I totally missed all of them. Not some of them, but all of them. And then I realized, I'd overshot the gallery area. So I came back and really looked carefully, and then they all started appearing. It's like stars on starry night, you look up there and in the sky, and you can see a few stars, but the deeper you look, the more suddenly appear, and that's the way these petroglyphs are. So that's a summary of Petroglyph Canyon and where the petroglyphs are in the Petroglyph Gallery. Okay. Now the first view of the Las Vegas Valley and the Strip. As I'm exiting Petroglyph Canyon. What an awesome day. This is a must-see for anyone who is in the area of Las Vegas. Very, very beautiful, intriguing, fun to have the feeling of connecting with ancient peoples who, as you look at their art on the rocks, you almost feel a kind of connection with them.